You ever turn on a movie and say to yourself, I feel like I have seen this before. It feels so familiar, and yet you know you've never watched it. That's because the characters in the film look identical to ones you've seen in other movies. It's not you, it's totally the movie, which is why we are shedding light on these cinematic doppelgangers. But before we get started, be sure to hit that red subscribe button to join in on the fun and keep up to date with all things Screen Rant. Can you guess which feature film these emojis are hinting at? Stay tuned to find out after the video. Natalie Cook and the Bride. Our first entry contains two strong women who hit the big screen a year apart from one another. We're talking about the Cameron Diaz version of Natalie Cook in the early 2000s reboot of the Charlie's Angels franchise.
Good morning, Charlie!
We are pairing her with Uma Thurman's The Bride in Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. While we acknowledge their choices in clothing are different from one another, The Bride is known for her iconic yellow jumpsuit with the black stripes. Charlie's Angels are known for covering up less and fighting while fashionable. Both of these women are trained fighters who know not only how to take a bad guy down, but also how to defend themselves. They have lean, muscular tone that helps them to keep up with all of the action. They train hard and play hard. The Bride, also known as Beatrix Kiddo, and Natalie Cook have long blonde hair and fair skin. If you were watching them in action, you might not be able to tell the difference between the two. You'd have to look very carefully to be able to see any difference. Each of them also use their weapon of choice during combat. The thing that might give it away is the Bride's use of her sword during fighting. Maximus, Decimus, Meridius, and Leonidas I. The two guys in this matchup both hail from times long, long ago. We are talking about ancient Rome and Sparta.
This is Sparta!
Who doesn't love a movie where we get to see dudes all armored up and fight to defend honor and justice? Both films center around a protagonist who finds themselves in precarious situations. In the movie Gladiator, General Maximus Decimus Meridius is played by Russell Crowe. The movie 300, based off the graphic novel by the same name, has main warrior Leonidas I, played by Gerard Butler. Pretty much all of the time in these films, our main characters are wearing the same exact thing, armor. While Leonidas might be showing a little more abs than our man Maximus, both are donning traditional fighting gear at some point. They have rugged faces and have seen a lot on the battlefields. Their dark hair is cut short. They are rocking scruffy beards because, let's be real, who has time to shave in the middle of fighting? Maximus can't really ask the other gladiators to stop while he goes for a shave. Leonidas and Maximus are both muscular and intimidating on the battlefield. They wear masks, metallic armor consisting of chest and shoulder plates, and protective leg gear. We wouldn't want to cross these guys in the arena any day.
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
Patrick Bateman and Gordon Gekko. When someone says to you, I want to see a movie with the lead character who embodies Wall Street, two movies immediately come to mind. Can you take a guess? If you said American Psycho starring the one and only Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman and Wall Street with iconic Michael Douglas as Gordon Gekko, then you'd be right. While we acknowledge the sequel in 2010, we are sticking with the original 1987 version of the character. Depicting Wall Street on the big screen totally skews to a certain look. We get that. Wall Street means power suits and extravagance. Big Rolex watches and flashy ties. For us, Patrick and Gordon take the attributes of Wall Street and take it to the next level, and the resemblance is uncanny.
Thank you.
When you put them side by side, don't you think it kind of looks like Gordon could be Patrick's father? Or maybe even twins? Both men have slick back dark hair that is perfectly coiffed no matter the occasion. Their jawlines are strong, and when they smile, you can't exactly tell what is going on underneath it. Don't even get us started on their ability to stare someone down. Patrick and Gordon sure know how to rock a pair of suspenders.
Look at me. Look at me.
Ethan Hunt and John Anderton. We know what you are thinking with this one. How could they possibly count? Both characters on the list are Tom Cruise. Of course, he is going to look like himself when it is the same person playing the role. Think about this for a minute. Tom Cruise has been in dozens of movies and knows how to transform himself. His characters have distinct looks. Even when doing action films, his characters have different looks from one another, which is why we couldn't let it slide that Mission Impossible's main character Ethan Hunt and Minority Report's John Anderton look exactly the same. Despite being set in 2054, Minority Report's main character looks like he totally came from 1996's Mission Impossible film. In both instances, these characters are law enforcement type officials who wear darker colored, clean-cut clothing. Their hair is cut very short like military style. Both are clean-shaven individuals. Even though Tom Cruise is older when he filmed Minority Report, his characters look the same age. You can essentially swap Ethan Hunt for John Anderton, and despite being over a decade apart, couldn't tell they were from different movies. Star-Lord and Indiana Jones. On the outside, it may feel like the hero from Guardians of the Galaxy and the great adventurer Indiana Jones have nothing in common. One character is a space-traveling scavenger who happens into saving the universe. Then you have anthropologist and adventurer Indiana Jones, who ends up finding himself in impossible situations that his wits and skill get him out of the jam. When Indiana Jones and Star-Lord are busy taking on the bad guys or running away, you can't help but notice how identical they look. Let's start with the fashion. Both wear rugged, adventure-friendly clothing that allows them to easily evade enemies while still feeling fashionable. Indiana Jones has his iconic hat, bullwhip, and jacket, while Star-Lord has his own long coat. Physically, Harrison Ford's Dr. Jones and Chris Pratt's Peter Quill look exactly the same. They have hair that is on the light brown side. They have well-toned, muscular physiques. Both Indiana and Peter have a scruffy facial hair look, a kind of permanent 5 o'clock shadow, and on Quill, it sometimes can get a little longer. If you put Star-Lord in Indiana's hat, you know you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. We tried. We couldn't. Harrison Ford? Chris Pratt? Who are these people? They're one man. INIGO Montoya and Sirius Black. If you were born in the 80s, we're going to guess that, like us, you watched The Princess Bride over and over again.
Where is that written?
If you were born in the late 90s or early 2000s, there is no doubt you grew up watching the Harry Potter films. Both changed the lives of countless youngsters and brought some of the most memorable and loved characters of all time. Did you know that the films have something in common? Who would have thought that these two films would share anything? But they do. Can you take a guess which two characters look exactly alike? If you guessed INIGO Montoya and Sirius Black, then you're right. We believe if you looked at pictures of both, it would be hard to tell them apart. The similarities start right at the top, with their long, wavy hair that stops right at the shoulders. Bangs are swept off to the side. Their faces are long, framed by the hair. Both men rock a very stylish mustache that goes way over the lips and to the sides of the face. Both have dark eyes and piercing stare. We know one thing for sure: never pick a fight with either of them. Sarah Connor and Katniss Everdeen. In 1984, the Terminator movie hit the scene. It launched the career of Linda Hamilton into superstardom. She became known for her strength, determination, and ability to take on the world. You don't mess with Sarah Connor. For decades, women looked up to her for what a bad chick she was in the franchise. Decades later, a new warrior rolled onto the scene thanks to the creation of the Hunger Games series on the big screen. You know who we are talking about, Katniss Everdeen. We can't help but think she couldn't have been such a prolific character and role model if not for Sarah Connor. Which got us to thinking about the two women and how they look so much alike. Both women have long hair that they sport in various hairstyles. Katniss is known for her long braid and Sarah has the long, low ponytail. Both have bangs they sweep to the side to keep out of their face. They wear dark clothing that helps them stay nimble when they are on the run. Their cheekbones are strong and have fair skin. Let's not forget how they can stare you down with those piercing eyes, and when they make eye contact with you, you know they mean business. We wouldn't want to cross either of these warriors.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
M. Gustave and Ron Burgundy. M. Gustave and Ron Burgundy probably couldn't be more different from one another. The actors who portrayed these two characters on the big screen could also not be more different. They have dozens of movies produced between the two of them on a wide range of topics and styles. The film Anchorman, starring Will Ferrell as Burgundy, and The Grand Budapest Hotel, starring Ralph Fiennes as Gustave, is where these two finally intersect with one another. One of the first things to note about the two characters is the way in which they hold themselves. Gustave and Burgundy are medium build, however, when you watch them on the big screen, they look like they carry themselves as though they were taller men. When looking directly at their faces, you will notice how their mustaches fill out their face. They're reddish-brown mustaches on their upper lip that makes it hard to tell them apart. Both have darker hair that is short, but enough to run your hands through it. They both sweep the front bangs part to the left side. Their eyes are on the light gray and blue side and feel warm and welcoming. You'll also find both men wearing suits, often with a colorful jacket. Maybe one day, Ron can have Gustave on his show and confuse the audience. Lestat and Edward Cullen. Number 10 on our list is special because both characters are very famous outside of the film world. Both are famous in literary circles for being the protagonist of two beloved literary series. The characters Lestat de Lioncourt became famous in Anne Rice's interview with a vampire in the 1990s film of the same name. Over a decade later, another vampire climbed to the top of the charts with Stephenie Meyer's Twilight series. In the films, Robert Pattinson plays Edward and brought vampires back into popular culture. While we acknowledge Lestat has longer hair in the film, he often puts it into a ponytail. This makes the hair appear shorter and resembles Cullen's shorter style in the film. Both of these characters have soft features and cheekbones. Their skin is paler on the chalky white side due to their vampirism. Like Edward does in the Twilight series, there is a bit of a sparkle. Their eyes are magnetic, and when they stare at you, you can't turn away. Lestat and Cullen are both tall, with lean body frames and short, narrow noses. We can't leave out the most important part of their shared features, which is their fangs. You couldn't miss those from a mile away. Ferris Bueller and Peter Parker. With the release of the Spider-Man reboot this July, it got us thinking about the great film Ferris Bueller's Day Off. As some of you may be aware, in Spider-Man Homecoming, there is a nod to Ferris Bueller's legendary race home through the backyards. Peter Parker, while in pursuit of some criminals, finds himself swinging through backyards and getting into all sorts of messes along the way. It is a really fun sequence in Spider-Man as well as in Ferris Bueller. This got us to thinking about Matthew Broderick's character Ferris Bueller and how much he resembles Tom Holland's new Spider-Man. Granted, Ferris looks nothing like Spider-Man, but he very much resembles the young Peter Parker. They have so much in common. They both are in high school and have a dorky guy best friend. Ferris and Peter have crushes on a girl in school. Beyond these similarities, they also have physical characteristics that bring them closer together. Both of them have that fresh-faced glow to them. They have short dark hair they keep well combed. Peter and Ferris have great big smiles that melt your heart. We also know it's the kind of smile that is hiding a secret. They definitely have the kind of face that is hard to say no to. Be careful your neck doesn't hurt from doing a double take with all those doppelgangers. Who knew so many different characters could look alike? Is there anyone that look exactly the same that we might have missed? Let us know in the comments below. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe and check out more videos on our playlist. Thanks for watching.